What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and to this episode of Benny. What's it called again? Benny on the Beats! So it's been a minute since we've been here. I put out some posts on YouTube explaining the reason for the delay. You know what? We don't have time. We don't have time to whine and complain about that. Welcome. You're here now. Let's just move forward. And I know I say this on almost every video, and I know you guys probably get sick of hearing it, but you got to remember there's new people here. Every video, there's someone here for the first time. I like to take a second and just address them. Number one, what's up?
Hi.
Welcome to the channel, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It's one of the keys to success and happiness in your life.
Wow, that sounds great.
Previous comment is not legally binding or true in any regard. So usually we take a minute to go over comments and questions from the last video and highlight some of those and have a discussion on some of those things and then get into the recap. Just to switch it up, we're gonna move it around this week and talk about the calls I had first, and then at the end of the video, we'll talk about your guys' questions, comments, and stuff like that, and go look at a few of those. So I'm trying to remember which of these we talked about in the last video. I don't have time to go back and review it. You know what? We're gonna just go for it. I don't remember talking about this one. So this call was a lady that called saying her cat was stolen, asked officers to call and make a report, has suspect information. I believe I called this gal and ended up finding out that she was just what we call 1096, the 10 code that we use for mentally unstable or a mentally ill individual. So when we get those, we try to determine if that's what's going on or if it's a legitimate complaint. And sometimes we have to actually call family members to get their help. We ask for like a son or daughter or sister or brother or somebody's information. We call and verify with them. Oh, did she call about the cat again? Yeah, she does this about every year once or so. So we got her taken care of and moved on to the next one. Oh yes, then we had the heroes to the rescue. This was a call of a baby locked in a car. So it's not really summer yet, it's not super warm in our state, but still, you know, your baby's locked in a car, that's gonna freak you out, especially if you're a younger parent. So in the last apartment that I worked at, they gave us lockout equipment. We actually had the big, what they call the Big Easy. So depending on where you live in the country, some police officers will do these for people. Some departments won't do it for liability reasons. The last department I worked in, we did it as a service to the community. So they provided all of us lockout equipment and we opened cars for people. It was just one of the regular calls that we handled. At first I thought it was really cool because they were teaching me skills that I thought if I ever got into a different line of work, I thought it was really cool. But then after a while, I realized it was the same people that would keep calling. We ran into the same person that would forget and lock their keys in the car for like the third, fourth, fifth time. So the department that I'm in now, it's not something that we do, and they don't provide us the equipment. There's a few officers that have gone out and got their own, and they'll go out and help people, but it's not something that we do as a department. So in my city, the fire department are the heroes. They're the good guys that go out and open the car doors. That's... figure. But they still dispatch a police officer on these for whatever reason. I guess because a kid is locked in a car, but they dispatch our fire department and they get to show up and be the heroes. The funny thing about this is, you know, firefighters, they can't do anything by themselves. It's all the squad, right? It's all the team. So I'm used to going on these calls by myself and going and just simply unlocking the door and letting the person into their car. So when I go on these now and the fire department's there, they got like the whole street shut down. There's several squads or units, like a battalion chief on scene. They've got 15 guys around the car, multiple units. It's out of control. It's the entire firehouse emptied to go out on this call. So eventually, I mean, it takes them a little while, but eventually they get into the car and the people are, oh, thank you. You guys are so awesome. I want to buy one of your calendars. And I'm standing in the background looking like a schmuck.
As per usual.
So I don't really like these calls as much as I used to. All right, then we got a call of another suspicious bag. I say another because it was only like a video or two ago. I told you guys about the abandoned luggage that was in the driveway, and my partner that has been on several tours to Iraq and done like bomb disposal type stuff, he showed up and went like crazy on it. He snuck up on it, shut off his radio, checked for trip wires, and just the full gambit, right? I'm the idiot that would have walked up, kicked it over, said it's fine, and left. We got another similar call, suspicious package in the park. This was a purse or something abandoned just sitting in the middle of the park. Somebody thought it looked suspicious for whatever reason and called us. So he was on it again. He went out on it. I came to back him just like before. So I stood back like 50 feet behind a big tree while he snuck up on it. Tactical crawled up to the suspicious bag, swept it, checked for like wires and stuff, and ended up being a bag full of transient property, like with a book and clothing inside and stuff. Next call, we got one of my all-time favorite, a heroin overdose. Absolutely love these calls where people are just shooting themselves up with the craziest chemicals in the world and then they overdose and essentially die. And the fire department and the medical units show up and save their life. And of course, they're always extremely grateful, right? They see the light of day. They change their ways. They realize they were just literally dead and have been brought back to life. They throw that out the window and make a change for good, right? 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 Like the typical heroin user, he woke up and just said like, what the F are all you guys doing in my apartment? Had an attitude, wanted us to leave, refused to go to the hospital. I guess you could say it's frustrating to some degree to see people in this state of life and absolutely refuse to do anything to help themselves. I don't know. It frustrates me. So that's exactly what happened on this one. We got there. The guy was passed out dead on the ground. The girl in the apartment had no idea what happened. No clue what occurred. She was in the other room doing laundry the whole time. Of course, medical guys come in. They hit him with Narcan. We've talked about Narcan before. It's the stuff that counteracts the opiates in your system. Woke up after a second or two and, you know, there you go. Saved his life. And on to the next one. Then we got a call to an apartment building, a notorious complex with a lot of problems, theft, drugs, gang activity, that type of stuff. And the call was just of a suspicious van in the parking lot that had a bunch of bikes on it. And the person that called said these people steal bikes all the time. How they know that or what evidence or information they have to back that up, who knows? But that was the information given. So think about this as a cop. If you're not a police officer yet, put yourself in my shoes, right? So you get this information, you're dispatched on the call, you get there and you see the van, right? Sure enough, there's a couple guys around it. There's bikes on the roof rack. What level of stop or what level of authority do you have? Are you going to stop these people at gunpoint, prone them all out next to the van, demand identification, put them in handcuffs, and investigate if each of these bikes is stolen?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Every call is different, and you got to act accordingly and appropriately within the confines of the law, right? So anyway, I sat and observed them for a minute while my backing officer was still on their way, and I couldn't see them doing anything illegal. And yeah, they had some bikes on their car, but there was no report that it was somebody's bike that they recognized. They just said these people steal bikes often. May or may not be true. So once he got there, we went up and talked to him, let him know that we'd had a complaint, just asked politely if they lived in the complex or what their business was there. They said that their daughter, like one of their kids, lived there. They had just been there visiting them, and they were just getting ready to leave. Ran the license plate on the car, ran the individuals from other history from the car, and no problems or issues that we could see. That's what you'll find on these type of calls as you investigate as a police officer. You may start with very little. So your reason to detain someone or stop someone may be very limited in scope. But as you ask them some basic questions and then identify them and stuff like that, it may ripen your reasonable suspicion into something more, leading to them being detained further until you figure out what's going on. Again, keeping in mind that all of this has to be done within the confines of the law. You can't just stop anybody anytime you want for any reason. Oh, but that's no fun. So as I'm recording this, I literally get this notification right in the middle of this. I'm just gonna share it right here. David Peterson. David, hopefully you're watching this video because of what you commented here. I'm assuming you're watching this. I'm calling you out, man. Or highlighting you, whatever you want to say. Where is, I can't read it backwards. Where is the next patrol video? Seriously, he said something like, have you been detained by, has your whole family been detained by Officer Man? I understand, David. You know what? And it makes me feel good that there's people actually waiting for him and wondering where they're at. So when we don't post, it's good to know that some of you actually care. And the last one that I got for you guys today was a traffic accident. My partner and I were dispatched to this. I was sent as the primary officer. He was sent as the backing officer. He was a lot closer, so he ended up getting there first. And this is something that'll happen in most agencies. Those of you guys that are cops out there, I don't know if this is like it is for you. So this will differ from officer to officer, but just because dispatch assigns an officer as the primary officer, usually that means they'll be the one to take the report and handle the investigation. We can switch that out in the field if we want. I mean, dispatch doesn't care who takes the call. So that's what happened on this one. My buddy got there first and pulled up right to the scene, so he was close and got all the information. He needed me to shut off the intersection, which was way down the road. So when I got there, I used my car to shut off the intersection and just did traffic control. So rather than me walking all the way to the scene and all the way back to my computer and all the way back to the scene, luckily he was cool enough to just say, you know what, I got the information, I'll take this one. And that's it for the calls this week. It was a short one as far as calls go, and I know I apologize, guys. I was in training and stuff. I just had some days where I wasn't out on the road on patrol, and so that's what you get. That's the best I got. But let's take a look at a few of the questions and comments. Personally, my favorite part of these videos is interacting with you guys and trying to get to as many questions as I can. Jaden V, put this in your next video. Whoa, Mr. Bossy Pants, huh? How did you pass your driving test at the police academy? Jaden, I can't tell if you're throwing down a diss or if you're asking a legitimate question, like what is the driving test like? Or are you asking how in the world Did you ever pass your driving test? Is Jaden the type with the moxie to throw down a diss on the FuzzFam? Or is he innocent and pure and just asking a question? I don't know what to do. Jaden, I'm gonna assume that you're asking a legitimate question. How do you pass your driving test? Well, you know what? It depends on the police academy. A lot of police academies nowadays don't have police driving as part of the academy course anymore. Like in our state, they don't teach it in the academy, but once you get hired by an agency, you go back and you do some driving tests. But there's a lot of different stuff you do. You do serpentine courses and a whole bunch of fun stuff, and you just have to meet the standards they're teaching you and demonstrate that you understand the skills, and you pass. If you were being funny and asking me how I passed mine, let me just say this for the record. I dominated the driving test. And no, I didn't wreck any cars. Zero. That was actually one of my favorite things in the academy, and it's one of the things that I did the best at. I'm a naturally skilled driver. Soccer Dude 36. What's up, Soccer Dude? What kind of handcuffs do you prefer, the chain or the hinge? The chain. I've never tried the hinge stuff. I don't know. I've always had chain, and it always works fine. And how would you handcuff a one-armed man? Why would you handcuff a one-armed man? One-armed men never do anything. We actually use what's called a belly chain. You put a chain around them to a link with the handcuffs, and you can put that behind the back and do like a... I've never had to do it. I've seen it done. It can be done. Comedy Pulse Network. Yeah, JK. What? I was wondering where you did your training, and was it at Post, or did you start somewhere else? Love the videos. Comedy. We've actually done a video on this. If you look up on our channel, what did I call it? Becoming a police officer, I think is what I called it on there. Did an entire video about my training at Post. Yes, it was at Post. Carter Fugate. Fugate. I kind of prefer Fugate. I once heard that if someone was not safe to be driving at that moment, drunk, etc., they could call for an officer, a police or community officer, to pick them up and take them to a safe point. Is that true that they can do that? Carter, I guess in the strictest sense of the question, it's true that it's possible. I mean, depending on the agency and where it's at in the country, a police officer may do that, but I'm going to tell you right now, 9 out of 10 times what's actually going to happen is they're going to be investigated for DUI, assuming they get stopped, right? So like they're in violation and they get stopped. They're going to probably be arrested for a DUI. They're not going to be given a taxi ride home. Not to say that it hasn't happened or that it might not happen. I'm guessing you may be asking like before they drive, like if they're doing the right thing and trying to prevent driving, will police officers take them home? I'm gonna say no on that one because we're not taxi drivers. And again, this depends on where you're at in the country. There's probably some agencies out there that aren't that busy, smaller or whatever, and they'll do that for people and they're happy to do that. Like where I work, we're busy enough handling emergencies and calls. We're not gonna be taxis for people. You know, you call an Uber, you call a taxi, we're not going to be the taxi. But good question though. Osin Raymond? Would you change your career to a detective, or are you happy with your patrol career? Raymond, I've looked into going into investigations. I'm interested in doing that just because it's another facet of law enforcement that I haven't done yet. Scratch that. I've done it. I've done a little bit of detective work. In the last agency that I worked, we were kind of quasi-detective, quasi-patrol officers. So I've done detective work, and for the most part, I enjoy it. So I've looked at going into being a full-time detective, but I haven't decided that for sure. But yes, I've been happy with my career as a patrol officer. That's where everything happens. I mean, that's out on the front lines. So being a patrolman is good. Skip Tracer, hey man, saw you in the live stream the other day. I hope everything's going better for you. Skip Tracer was having kind of a crap day the other day. Hey FuzzFam, love your videos. Can you get permission to do a virtual ride along and record yourself out on patrol? This question comes up quite a bit. Guys, the short answer as of right now where we sit today is no, I can't do that. It's against my department policy and procedure to take a camera out and record stuff on my job, especially if I'm monetizing it on this channel, which is why I'm doing these videos. It's the closest thing I can get to bringing you out and putting you on the road with me and letting you ride with me and show you what I do without actually bringing a camera and doing that. So that's why we're doing these videos. Rookie Lock, do you guys use Rumbler sirens? Oh, no, we don't. We don't have them. They're too nice. They're too expensive. Have you seen my car? You know what my department invests in equipment when it comes to cars, right? I wish. I think those are cool. If you guys don't know what Rumbler sirens are, very, very cool. This is what they are. Super, super cool technology. I mean, anything that makes drivers more aware of an approaching emergency vehicle is fantastic, right? We've all been in that situation where all of a sudden there's a police officer, a firefighter, or an ambulance right there behind us or next to us going by us, because we were so tuned into whatever we were doing, jamming out to Rage Against the Machine or Christian rock or whatever it is, and all of a sudden they're there. So I think anything like that that helps people be aware of that is a good thing. I wish we had them. Tell you guys what, when I get my Lamborghini, when I get the Lambo and I turn it into the stealth unmarked police car, you better believe I'm gonna put a rumbler siren in there. Absolutely. Julia Salmon. Salomon. What is with me and names?
You suck!
I love these videos. What's your favorite flavor of Pop-Tarts? Hold on. Time out. What? I love these videos. What's your favorite flavor of Pop-Tarts? There's something about that sentence that's just magical. Julia, thank you. I didn't even have to think about that one. Cherry. Cherry, can't go wrong. Classic cherry. I always try the multi-flavored stuff and you know, it's fine for a minute. Always go back to my roots. Cherry Pop-Tarts. Taha Ali. Hopefully I said that right. Hey FuzzFam, you've mentioned responding to calls where security was present, hospital, mall, library, etc. What is your opinion on security guards and how do you think they can best help local police? I'm currently a security guard at a hospital where we interact regularly with local law enforcement. I'm also in the process to join the local police department, hopefully by the end of this year. Love your channel and these videos. Taha! Well, first of all, that's awesome, and best of luck in your process on getting on with the local law enforcement department. What? The local police department or wherever it is that you apply. Best of luck in that process. I hope you keep us up to speed on how that goes, and we'd love to hear once you get accepted or get hired. That would be awesome. My opinion on security guards is I think it's a very important position. There's just way too much stuff out there that requires physical personnel for security purposes for police officers to do it all. The only thing I've ever seen from security officers that frustrates me is when they act outside the scope of what they can or they should be doing. I've seen security officers that think they have a lot more authority than they do, and they violate the crap out of people's rights. We show up on scene and it's just all gone to crap already. Like, they've detained people illegally, they've searched people illegally. Now granted, security guards don't usually have to follow the exact same rules that we do, but still, it creates a bad situation. So I would say what security officers can do to help us the best is just know the parameters of your job, know what the law allows, what you can and can't do, and more often than not, like, just be a good witness. So I think they're great as long as they do their job well. All right, guys, and with that, that is all the time I have to get this video put together. I've got to get some editing done and run out the door. I've got so little time to do this, and I wanted to get this out to you guys by Saturday since we're going to be out of town for the weekend. Life is so busy. I cannot thank you guys all enough for the love and the support. Thank you for leaving a like on the video. Thank you for being subscribed to the channel. I can't tell you guys exactly when we'll have a new upload or our next video. I can tell you that if you want more content from us and you want to interact with us, by far the funnest, the best way to do that is to go over to Twitch. Come over to Twitch. If you haven't ever been there, just break that barrier, get past it, set up an account, username and email, super easy. Follow the link in the description below to our channel. Come follow us there, it's free, and interact with us on our live streams. I can't plug this enough. I am probably like 10 times more excited and thrilled right now with Twitch than I am with YouTube as a platform, and the fun that we're having over there. Every week we get new people from the channel that finally decide to come over and check it out, and they're glad they did. So please come over there and check us out and get into one of our live streams and have some fun with us. We are there more than anywhere else right now. Okay, that's enough. That was a pretty good plug. See you guys next time. Have a great week.
Let's level up. Pedal to the metal when I play the cut. Doing double time like double dutch. Stay a dime a dozen, so I double up. These late nights finna pay off. Gonna take flight, no days off. My blood pumping, my blade sharp. Young Savon trying to save all.
Yeah, what do you want?